Kaama, divine desires or lowly lust? The word Kaama in a Bharatiya context has several connotations, though all of them are closely related. Kaama is Manmatha, the god of love. Kaama is also used as a synonym for lust or desire, often of the sexual kind. It is the third Purushartha in the list: Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. In the Western world, it is recalled best in connection with the Kama Sutra of sage Vatsyayana. Kama in contemporary usage brings forth explicit imageries of Ajanta and Ellora. Irrespective of the exact context, the very mention of the word Kama elicits a shy, sly smile. There are others who insist that this shying away from discussing sex is immaturity and it must be discussed in open classrooms with adolescents. Yet, others treat Kama with disdain and as a manifestation of basal tendency. For cinegoers of today, Kama is often synonymous with or an extension of romance. But then, how did the ancient Bharatiyas view Kama? Did they feel no inhibitions about talking so freely about such basal tendencies? These and several other related questions may easily be anticipated from modern rational and thinking minds. Kama as a natural impulse. Kama is a natural impulse in all animals, as it is in humans. In fact, if this were absent, the very survival of our species would have been untenable. It is latent since birth and manifests with the onset of adolescence as the mutual attraction between man and woman. If this attraction conforms to the boundaries of the values espoused in a particular culture, society or community, this attraction is celebrated. If not, it is castigated. This is the rule universally in all races, communities and countries. The acceptable rules and boundaries for such a communion, though, vary quite widely across cultures. The fact remains that every group of people do have their own take on what is acceptable and what is not. Kama in Bharatiya civilization and culture. The rishis of ancient Bharata were very well aware of the power of Kama. They also recognized that the most primitive and generic form of Kama is a strong temptation to fulfill the desires of the senses, a definition whose scope is far wider than just attraction to the other sex. Depending on the situation, Kama can thus assume manifold forms. The rishis also understood that unrestrained desires, like bolting horses, could breach any boundary and cross all limits. Thus, they promptly incorporated controls in society to rein in these prancing horse-like desires of men. Every car that has an accelerator to propel it forward must have a brake too. If not, accidents will be the norm. The great men who shaped the society of Bharata created an effective brake to the impulses of Kama and also institutionalized the same. That brake is Indriya Jaya, or the control of senses. Indriya Jaya in our daily life can take many forms. It is the firmness to refuse a juicy sweet or a tasty snack offered on a platter if it is not conducive to one's state of health. It is the ability to look away from a captivating scene if it not be in accordance with one's principles. In short, it is the strength and steadfastness to say no to something that is easily available, even though the senses may be craving for it. One must be careful to not confuse Indriya Jaya with a general disdain or indifference to all things in life in general. That would be akin to saying that I can only brake but am not capable of driving the car. One is said to be fully in control of his car only if he is capable of driving carefully in the crowded marketplace and very safely at 120 km per hour on the expressway. Similarly, one is said to be endowed with a balance and in control of his senses only if he has the strength to say no at inopportune situations, but can still enjoy and indulge the senses when permissible. This sense of balance was termed as dharma by our rishis. The license of dharma is essential for acquisition of artha and enjoyment of kama. In the Bharatiya way of life, before one was permitted to acquire artha, wealth or resources, or enjoy kama, desires, he or she was trained for long in dharma. That period of training was termed brahmacharya and was usually spent at the abode of the guru. Life in a gurukulam did not just involve textual learning or thinking as is the norm in schools today. It involved self-discipline and penance that led to spiritual enlightenment. It imbued the aspirant with the balance of dharma and made it a part of his nature. Only one who succeeded in such a regimen graduated as snataka, synonymous with graduate in contemporary Indic languages. Such a dharmishta or one endowed with dharma does not breach the boundaries of propriety. Kama, enjoyed by such an exalted one, is what is referred to in Sri Krishna's proclamation in the Gita. Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. O Arjuna, among the Purusharthas, I am verily the Kama that is not opposed to Dharma. When a Snataka becomes a Grihastha and assumes the role of a householder after attaining Dharma, he enjoys Kama and the riches of Artha not just for satiation of his senses, but as a means of benefiting all the animate and inanimate creations. He undertakes it as a means of worship or yajna. He is not bound by the temptation of senses. As time rolls on and old age stares in the face, he grieves not. Dispassionately giving up enjoyment, he embraces his first nature, penance. In course of time, he casts aside the body as one would his old rags. This glorious lifestyle of Bharatavarsha is described by Kalidasa in Raghuvamsha as Shaishavebhyasta vidyanam yavvane vishayaishinam vardhakye munivrittinam yogenante tanutyajam. Is this relevant today? But why are we regurgitating these old tales of a bygone era? Is it still relevant today? The answer is an emphatic yes. To this day, we are driving our bodily vehicles driven by the impulse of Kama. If we desire a joyous and safe journey of life, it is mandatory for us to acquire the license of Dharma. Most of the accidents that we see today, be it on the roads or in our homes, offices or society, may be attributed to untrained drivers without a license. This is true today as it ever was. If one possesses the license of Dharma, Kama is worthy of worship. Else, it takes its place as one of the 6 vile vices and must be abandoned forthwith.